Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Financial Juneteenth, and this has been a crazy week. I mean, a lot of stuff has been going on politically, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit as opposed to just talking about money type stuff. One of the things that I observed that you might have noticed too is that President Barack Obama went onto the radio and he actually used the N word to make a point. He was basically saying that racism is no longer about the idea of just not being called a nigger, that it's about much, much more. And I didn't quote him exactly, but that's pretty much what he said. And so a lot of people were debating as to whether or not it makes sense for a sitting president to use the N word publicly. I'll definitely say that it was pretty bold of the president to do that. I'm not going to say that it was necessarily right or wrong, since he was using the word in a context to try to make a point. But then there are some people who would just say, look, you're the president, and even if everybody else is using the N word in some type of form, nigga, whatever it is, you as the president aren't really supposed to do that. Because I do wonder, when he said what he said, I kind of wondered to myself, I said, what if he were a white man? What if he, we know Barack is 50% white. But what if he were 100% white instead of just 50%? How would people respond to that? What if he were a Republican instead of a Democrat? I can guarantee you, if he were a Republican, people would be calling him racist. I don't think anybody would just let it slide and say, "Oh, well, George Bush was just fighting for racial equality," right? But then again, Democrats and Republicans are different. We know that. I don't think Barack meant any ill will or any harm to when he said this. And one of the things that does come up a lot, and this is, I think, a legitimate issue, is that, there are a lot of people who say, well, why as black people are you going to get so mad when anybody else uses the N word when you're using it all the time in your music and with each other and stuff like that? And I'm going to say, I knew a lot of people that use the N word over the years. I've used it before. I'm talking about nigga with an A, right? Because we know that there's a difference. But over time, I kind of figured out to myself, I said, well, maybe there are better ways for me to address my brother than to call him my nigga, right? And because think about it, I mean, you're not gonna hear Farrakhan say, "What's up, my nigga?" He's not gonna do that, right? He might say, "What's up, my brother?" How are you, my brother, right? Which is a type of dignity and respect that people do deserve. And if you really think about it, maybe calling each other niggas isn't the best way to address each other. There are billions of words, maybe I don't know about billions, but at least millions of words that you can use, and maybe nigga doesn't have to be at the top of the list, right? So I want you to repeat after me, and you got this. I want you to repeat to yourself: I am not a nigga, and I am not a nigger. I'm not either one. And think of yourself in some kind of context that elevates you as opposed to pushes you down. That's just my 2 cents on this. Now, another issue they did come up was the issue with the Confederate flag. A lot of people were fighting to get the Confederate flag taken down at the State House. You saw that there was just kind of this tidal wave of people kind of addressing this Confederate flag issue right after the shooting that took place in Charleston, South Carolina. Personally, I thought that was good progress. One thing I didn't like seeing necessarily was the way people kind of pushed for calm and peaceful responses to just this unspeakable violence. Personally, I don't think that you should tell people how to react. I don't think that the people in Charleston should be forced to do what other outside leaders are telling them to do. I think that they should be able to make their own decision. And if people feel like they got to pick up a gun to protect themselves, ain't nothing really wrong with that. I mean, it's kind of bad when you're constantly taught to be peaceful when other people are being violent. I'm not saying people should be violent. I'm saying that you should do what you need to do to protect the people that you care about. Now, when it comes to the Confederate flag, getting the Confederate flag taken down, I mean, that is a no-brainer. I mean, the Confederate flag is the swastika for black people. One of the things that black people don't really believe, and again, because our self-esteem can be kind of low, is that we're taught to kind of forget about history. We're taught to forget about slavery, forget about Jim Crow, forget about mass incarceration, pretend like those things didn't happen, pretend like those things don't really affect us. In fact, there was a study that showed that when they surveyed white people truly believe on average that black people feel less pain than other people do. So when you feel like something feels less pain, like an animal, and when you're thinking like, oh, it's just a pig. I mean, the pig's gonna be okay. You're not really concerned about the pain the pig might go through when you cut the pig's throat. But when you think about, say, like a dog, when people connect with dogs, they empathize with dogs. They're not gonna let a dog go through what a pig goes through. You can kill a pig and not get in trouble, but you kill a dog, you can get as much time in prison as you get for killing a man. So basically, black pain is typically minimized. People don't really feel it. People tell us about history and say, oh, forget about it. It's not a big deal. It's the past is the past. But you're talking about 400 years. You're talking about 400 years of the worst kind of oppression. I'm talking about not beyond homicide. You're talking about rape, extreme humiliation, lynchings. Is all these incarceration was a given. It's still happening today, actually. So our pain is real. And racism teaches us to act like it doesn't exist. And I would say that so what this translates into is the fact that they can wave this damn Confederate flag in our face. This flag that represents, look, we want you Negroes to be in prison. We want you Negroes to be enslaved. We don't want you to have your freedom. That's what that flag really represents. I mean, don't get me wrong. It might represent some other stuff, some other traditions and heroes and all that. And I mean, it is what it is, but I'm sorry. The main thing it represents is the idea that the South wanted to succeed from the Union so they could just enslave black people forever and never be questioned about that. So should the flag be taken down? Absolutely. I'm glad people are pushing to get it taken down. I think it does actually mean something. It's not everything. I mean, there's a whole lot more stuff they need to do, but getting that flag taken down is something that just absolutely has to happen, and there's really no way to defend it. Even staunch Republicans are saying, take the flag down. Let's just get that off the table because it's hard to defend this thing now. So I think it's a good thing. I think overall, is racial healing happening in America the way it should and at the pace it should? No, because it's not. Because America is a country that lives in complete denial about racism. America is a country. It's actually, according to most statistics, America is one of the most racist countries on the planet. If you look at our incarceration system, our economic system, and our educational systems, basically what you have in America is you have a two-tier society. You have apartheid. You have the average white living here, the average black person living here. That's why average white family wealth is about 20 times greater than average black family wealth. The better schools tend to be in white neighborhoods than in black neighborhoods. On incarceration, black people are incarcerated many times more often than than white people are. So basically, when you look at all these systems combined, somebody looking at America from the outside is basically saying, what's wrong with this country? I mean, what's wrong with you people? You guys have a lot of issues to fix, but somehow you see yourselves as the beacon of hope and justice and freedom, and so you don't believe you have any problems. When the fact of the matter is that if you travel around the world, I encourage you to go around the world for yourself. Don't read propaganda or watch the media to tell you what it's like to be in countries like Africa and other places, because it's not like that. And when you get there, what you're going to find is that the way those countries operate, the way they treat their citizens, the way black people are treated is very, very different from what you see in the United States. But because you may not have seen it anywhere else, you may think that this is all there is and that it's okay. Believe me, it's not okay. There is a problem, and maybe one day we'll get the courage to talk about this problem. But I'm talking to you about it right now. So I appreciate the fact that you are conscientious enough and you are intelligent enough that you are sitting here listening to me have this conversation with you. And I want you to leave your comments, and I want you to join in on the conversation, because we're going to push forward, and we can get there if we really try. Well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Financial Juneteenth. Shout out to Vlad TV. Until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. I am gone. Peace.
No comparison, man. ODB is in a class by itself. He don't even compare to us. Like he said, his style don't have no father. He the old dirty bastard of it right there. He created his own style. So
he would probably get beat for a week straight. He couldn't even walk through Long Beach. He'd be like a walking pinata. He'd just get beat every corner he turned.